Logical thinking is our ability to make sense of the world around us. This begins early in life, when an infant begins taking sensation. What they see, hear, touch, taste, and smell all need to come in and be understandable, create one picture. Unfortunately, many children have difficulty creating one picture with these various sensations, and especially connecting these sensations to something that is emotionally relevant. Understanding the world doesn't just require us memorizing what we're looking at, but actually understanding it at a deeper emotional level. For example, do I enjoy this sound? Do I want to hear more of it? Or is it aggravating me and I want to hear less of it? The touch, the smell, the taste that I'm getting from my caregiver, or this play, or this activity, or this toy that I'm utilizing. Again, each of these experiences have physical and emotional components. Our ability to take in, organize, and understand this information gives us an understanding of the world around us. And then it allows us to respond to the world, which is how we begin to develop our logical reasoning and rational thought. In doing that, when we start to understand the world, when it starts to make sense to us, cause and effect, then we start to feel more safe and trusting of the world around us, and we begin to understand larger and larger components of it. We start to put more and more pieces together. Unfortunately, for all children with autism, SPD, ADHD, at their core, they have challenges with integrating the sensory and the emotional information they're taking in. And as a result, instead of the world being organized and understandable, it is chaotic and disorganized. And instead of trusting the world around us, we start distrusting the world, which makes us more sensitive, apprehensive, reactive, impulsive, etc. And instead of developing a logical understanding of, I do this and then this happens, we actually don't understand these repercussions, implications for our own behavior. In the very beginning of life, this starts with organizing our actions and being purposeful. Literally putting one foot in front of the other in order to go grab the toy off the shelf or from mommy and daddy's hands. And all of a sudden we see that when we do get closer to mommy and daddy, they put their hand out with the toy and offer it to us. Now we're starting to see patterns emerge. I came to them, I put my hand out, they released the toy and offered it to me. Patterns in the physical world, but especially patterns in the social world, are extremely important for children to not only perceive and understand, but be able to navigate. If I do this, then this happens. This is cause and effect in the beginning of logical reasoning. Eventually, we develop more complex ideas. We start symbolically creating ideas. I might be able to create an image in my mind as to where I want to hide the toy. I picture an empty space behind the couch where I want to hide the toy that I'm trying to get away from my brother or sister, or in playing a treasure hunt hide and seek game with my mom or dad. These ideas lead to furthering our understanding of the world around us. Eventually, this logical reasoning of the world around us turns into more complex symbolic play, creating stories with characters and motives and feelings. We start expressing wants and desires and needs to our caregivers and getting those needs met. Again, establishing cause and effect patterns and understandings of logic. Eventually, we move into the version of logic that we as adults may be more familiar with, answering who, what, when, where, why questions, being able to connect two ideas, not just express singular ideas. I want a cookie is a singular idea. I want a cookie because I'm hungry, or I want a cookie because they taste good, or because I like chocolate, or something else, are logical connections where we're building this bridge between two separate ideas that are related. But as we know, oftentimes there are many logical connections in the world around us. It may not just be one reason or one logical connection that we bridge, but instead many. This continues to progress into what we call higher level thinking, where not only are we logical with two ideas, we have what's called triangular thinking, and we can give multi-causal responses to questions. Well, why do you want to go outside? My friends are out there, it's a nice day, and I want to play soccer. There's three reasons. I'm effectively writing an oral essay. This is not driven, as many people perceive logic, by factual information. How does a plane fly? It has wings. Well, yes, that is logical as well. But that is not actually what drives our logical process. Our logical process is our connection with the emotional world around us, our beginnings of understanding cause and effect within our familial relationships with caregivers, seeing that when I put my hand out, the object I'm looking for all of a sudden is handed to me, etc. But eventually, this becomes our understanding of the world. We start piecing together many different pieces of information, connecting them logically, and starting to understand how many things fit together. We develop a structure for the world around us that helps us learn to anticipate what's going to happen next, what we should expect from certain situations, even think about consequences and outcomes that may discourage certain behavior. Eventually, our understanding of these logical connections in the outside world help us also become more aware of what's happening in our inside world. When we start understanding all of these logical bridges that are happening around us, then we can also start understanding the logical bridges that are happening inside of us. Why did I do that? How was I feeling? Was I reacting strongly because I was angry? Or was I reacting strongly because not only was I angry, but it reminded me of something that I used to get angry about with my previous relationship? These logical bridges with the outside world allow us to become higher level emotional thinkers and become more reflective with our inside world. But it's important that our progression follows this path. If we simply try to feed children logical and factual information, unfortunately it's missing the meaningful emotional component. If we try to help them become self-aware without them becoming aware of the outside world, then there are holes in their understanding. We have to progress through these stages or milestones, if you will, in order to develop a full and robust understanding of logic both internally and externally.